Hey everybody, it's Thursday night and I have some comic books to look at. So I have two comic packs here. This is the one I usually do, the Ollie's Super Value Pack that has a lot of rando comics, a lot of indie comics, and this is a different one. I don't think I've ever done one of these. This is a collector 5-pack, and it's Marvel and DC only, and it's put out by Supreme Marketing in Fall River, Massachusetts. And if that name sounds familiar, Fall River, Massachusetts is where Lizzie Borden murdered her father and stepmother, supposedly, allegedly, although she was found not guilty. I'm not sure where these are made, but I think we're going to start with these. And the reason I bought this set was because of the Star Trek comic. And it says Kirk's crew is possessed by the spirit of Jack the Ripper. So this is interesting to me for two reasons. Jack the Ripper, of course, is a topic that I'm interested in, and Star Trek. And if you're a fan of Star Trek, you might remember there was an episode where Jack the Ripper's spirit possessed members of the crew and other people, and Scotty was accused of a murder. So I wonder if this is inspired by that same story. So let's start with this Star Trek. It's a fairly old comic, and that looks a little bit like Helena Bonham Carter. And on the cover, you've got Kirk, Bones, Uhura, and that's Bones, so who the heck is that? Chekhov? I'm not sure. 50th anniversary. So this is a 1985 comic. Bonus poll and prizes details inside. And on the back, there's a Starburst ad to win a BMX bicycle and a lot of other prizes. This looks like the Excelsior. It's that same type of starship. On the inside cover, we have an ad for Monogram model kits to make sort of a big wheel truck here, right here. Grip Roaring Fun. And now we get to the story. Wolf on the Prowl. Okay, the title of that Star Trek episode that I mentioned was Wolf in the Fold, so this has certainly got to be closely related to that episode. It says Captain's Log, Stardate 8878.1. We have entered the outer rim of the Argelian system on our mission to work the bugs out of the Excelsior. Maybe the same bugs that Scotty put into it in Star Trek 3. It has been 15 years since I last visited the system and looked straight into the face of hell. Yep, this is a follow-up, and I'm now very interested because if this is a story that continues, I would want to get the whole next issue, Wolf at the Door. Yeah, I need to find these because I want this set to read, because I liked that episode on this old comic paper that I really like. They're wearing the movie uniforms that started with Star Trek 2. That looks like Savick. I wonder if it's supposed to be here. That sure looks a lot like Savick. And I think, see, we're flashing back to the Star Trek original series here. So there's Sulu. I don't know if Spock is even in this. If this is in between Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3. This is so interesting. I wanted to sit down and read it, but you know, I'm trying to do the video here, and we get flashbacks from the Wolf in the Fold episode right here. You see? And Scotty was blamed for stabbing the dancer. The old Enterprise. There's Spock. But it's Spock from the show. And we get an ad for Fig Newton's, the other flavors. Fig, apple, cherry, and blueberry Newtons. Which are really good snack cookies. This is such an interesting looking story that I really want to find the other issues. Maybe even do a whole video of that. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark t-shirt. In 1985, whoa, she was something else. I mean, Cassandra is still a really, really good looking woman. I mean, she aged really well, but Elvira was something else back in the day. So, I'm pretty sure that's Savick. Yep, Savick, you were both Vulcan and Romulan. Yeah, very not widely known. That was in a deleted scene that Savick was revealed to be both Vulcan and Romulan. And that was in Star Trek 2. And you can get it on the director's cut. Starfire and Cyborg. Is this Teen Titans? And you have glow-in-the-dark posters. Just sort of, that looks a bit like Battlestar Galactica, but not quite. Continuing on, this really interesting comic that I'm going to set aside because I really do want to read this. You don't get a lot of Excelsior stories. And you get to see them in their fuel jackets and everything. I really am liking this comic a lot. It's a horror comic, you know, bloody and nightmarish. Very, very interesting. Yeah, Kirstie Alley was really the best Savick. I like Robin Curtis fine, but Kirstie Alley did, you know, make that role her own, and I really wish she had reprised it. That old Type 2 phaser that we only saw in 2 movies, then they replaced it in Star Trek 3. So this seems to take place in the timeline between Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3. There's DC Amazing Man. He looks like a Klingon. Next issue, Wolf at the Door. That's what I'll be looking for. Alien Frequencies open. And there's a coloring page here. Wizard of Oz and Captain Carrot. This is very much like classic Wizard of Oz illustrations from the old book. I had to get a sip of coffee. So that's the first comic, and one I'm going to set aside. The next comic is Dark Reign, Thunderbolts. Much more recent. Rated T for teen. And this is Marvel, and that looks a little bit like Nick Fury. And I think it is because it says Fury on the back. An ad for Kia Soul. This was made in 2009, so it's post Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, so I think they're doing some throwback to the classic here. Batman Arkham Asylum, a must-play game. It's probably aged now, but it sure was fun when it came out. And we see the characters in this comic here. Black Widow, Ghost, Headsman, Ant-Man, Mr. X, Scourge, and Paladin. And pretty decent artwork. She looks a little like Rogue, but she does look a little like Rogue, but I don't think it is. The Cube. Still see those every now and then on the road. Halo 3. Gamefly. Video game rentals delivered to your door, kind of like Netflix was originally. Very good coloring in this issue. Got an ad for Honda. A lot of car ads for a comic book. I guess they were thinking that people who could afford to buy cars were reading this. Wolverine and Spidey, Iron Man, Deadpool, Venom, Hulk, Storm, and Cap here. Whose side are you on? The largest army of superheroes is back. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. In my book, the best Marvel games were the Lego ones, so I hate to say that. But the Lego games had the most action, the ability to play with your friend on the couch, couch co-op, and so many stories and humor, and so many characters that you could play. Return of the Black Cat, and it looks like Gwen is pretty upset here, or maybe that's Mary Jane. I think that's Mary Jane. I do like the artwork in this a lot. Old Man Logan. This is an interesting one. It's not like the movie. He's up like his adversary is Old Man Banner, the Hulk. It's definitely a dark and nihilistic comic. It's not at all like the movie Logan. Soul Calibur Broken Destiny. And that was Dark Reign Thunderbolts. Next is fairly old issue of Deathlock, the old Marvel Comics annual time stream. $2.50, but this is a thick comic. This is 1992. On the back has an ad for Battletoads. So let's take a look. The Avengers of Apple Cinnamon Avengers. Apple Cinnamon Cheerios. Some of these ads are so funny. I was wrapping up high school around this time when this would have come out. Probably playing the X-Men video game. The last time I really was excited about Avengers stuff was back in the 80s when they made a line of action figures. They had Captain America, they had Doctor Doom, they had a lot of other characters. I think they might have had Spider-Man, and all of the action figures came with a shield. They had a ventricular window on it and little cardboard inserts. And when you put the little cardboard insert into the shield, it made moving pictures. It was real cool, and the only figure I ever got from that whole set was Doctor Doom. I really like Captain America. Of course, that Captain America action figure pales in comparison of what we have now. They look a little bit like Thanos. Profile there. Not a lot of ads and a lot of pages. Get your Hercules muscles. Back by popular demand. And you get the Gumby and Pokey characters for just $2. X-Men from Konami. Ooh, cool. Like Vitruvius Man, kind of, with a skeleton. And there's Punisher. And there's Nick Fury. And that would be this Nick Fury. Yep. And there's the Thing. Mr. Fantastic. Very cool. What do we have next? We have Manhunter by DC. I'm thinking Martian Manhunter. DC Comics aren't just for kids. They got that right for a while there, at least. I'm not exactly who they're for now, but TSR, Territory Expansion. This is old Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Because this is an old comic. And look at the old video games. Old classic 19. Am I reading this right? 1988. Okay. Through the Mask. And good old classic comic book style. Got all your DC heroes here. Candelicious, I remember that for a hot second. Looks like Mexican wrestler masks. Cosmic Odyssey. He kind of make you think of James Dean from Rebel Without a Cause right here. I think they're kind of going for that. Keep in mind, in the 80s, that movie was hugely popular. It made a big comeback in the 80s. And James Dean stuff was everywhere. Mile High Comics. And I think it's Denver. Yep, Denver, Colorado. And Deadshot. That would be the Deadshot from Suicide Squad. Look at that. You get a little glimpse of him here. See? That's cool. Doc Savage, Adventure Continue. O'Neill, Wiggum, Montano. As we get all these masks again. I actually like that. If I ever, someday, if I had the extra room, it would be cool to have a room with nothing but masks on the wall. I just think that would be really cool. And there's that old sell greeting cards and you get this junk scam that we always thought was so cool. But they have a Jeopardy game here. Wilson Basketball. They have some name brand stuff this time around. I wonder Alex Trebek knew about that. Next, the last one from this pack. This is Thor, the Mighty Thor by Marvel. Thor Odin lives and Asgard dies. Another old comic. On the back of it, there's Taito, which is a video game company back in the 80s. I think it made a game called Elevator Action I used to like to play a lot. Ultra Games, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And we get to Thor. Wow. There's the New York skyline from pre-2001. Look, no more wires. The Freedom Stick. I remember this, the wireless remote control for your video gaming. Now we take that for granted. This is when Thor was Donald Blake, I think. Was that his alias? It's a Nintendo game, but is it the Game Boy? What year was this comic again? 1989. There was no Game Boy yet. Top Gun, You Can Fly. This Navy F-14 glider, I guess. And here's some more Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Kind of looks almost like the exact same ad. But it is actually, yep, pretty much the exact same ad. How about that? Just on non-slick paper. And here, look at that. The Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game. It looks identical to the one we bought back in the 80s. Me and my brother. That famous picture right there. Marvel Action Universe, and we have RoboCop in the Marvel Action Universe. You know, RoboCop was really not a kid's movie, the first one. When I watched it as a kid, I mean, I was just kind of terrified. It was so graphic and violent. I mean, I was shocked at some of the scenes in it. We all were. I mean, nothing like that would faze us now, but at the time, it was just kind of a terrifyingly violent movie. We have the Yummy Mummy, and I don't see Fruit Brute, but I do remember Yummy Mummy, the cereal. I might remember Fruit Brute. I don't know when it came out, but I'm not a cereal expert. So, now let's start on this one. This is comic book super value pack, $20 value, 10 different comics, some rated PG-13. Okay. Coffee. Okay. The first comic is the Twilight Zone, which is always interesting to me. On the back, there's an ad for Red Sonja. And, it's very, very slick and fresh, new feeling comic. I don't think it's ever been opened. This is a 2014. And we got a story The Way Out with pretty good artwork. Good, impressive artwork. I really like it a lot. I like the way the paper feels. This good comic book paper. He's got his old-timey smartphone. We get our little racy scene there. I guess he's an executive of a company that uses sweatshops. A lot of Twilight Zones were morality tales, you know. I wonder if the whole story is in this comic or you have to buy. Probably have to buy to finish the story up. The countdown begins. Unlock the universe. Turok, Dinosaur Hunter #1. Main cover by Bart Sears. That looks interesting. I like all those shiny dinosaurs. I like the artwork there. The artwork in this Twilight Zone, in my opinion, is really good. I mean, I really do like it. It's striking the Shawshank Redemption pose here. But I have to admit, it's some very good artwork. Very atmospheric. I like it a lot. And then the next issue. So this is a series, an interesting looking story. But of all of the comics we've looked at tonight, I think the one I'm still going to be looking for is that Star Trek Jack the Ripper story. I think I'd like to get the whole set. Maybe do a video of it. Legendary. Mob City. I watched this show. I actually bought it, and I was excited about it because it had some actors I really like Simon Pegg and the guy from The Walking Dead and the guy from Saving Private Ryan. It had a lot of actors I really liked. And Neil McDonough from the Band of Brothers. But visually it looked great, but it was very comic booky. It wasn't what I expected. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like a true historical show. It really wasn't. The next issue we're looking at is Voltron from the Ashes. Voltron was a very popular toy when I was a kid in the 80s. It was a Japanimation cartoon, and we all wanted that whole set, especially the lions. And there was also an alternate one that was cars, I think, but the lion one was the most desired set, and I think you can still find them. So I never got a Voltron. In the back, Jinx.com. There's gaming stuff. Let's take a look at this. Decent artwork. This is a 2015 comic. And yeah, the artwork's decent. Not bad at all. Before Voltron, there was a show I used to watch in the 70s and 80s called Battle of the Planets, and it was very similar, where they would all connect into and make one ship or improve the ship. There was another one called Star Blazers that I really liked too. That stuff from the 80s. The artwork in this is pretty good. Actually, I really do like it. Then Voltron, when they put them all together, he kind of became a man. He had a sword. Red Sonja. I used to like in the cartoon in Voltron when he would use the sword and chop whatever they were fighting in half. Like he was usually some robot or ship or something. It's always kind of a cool effect. And we get some of the other comics. Bob's Burgers, Vampirella, James Bond, Grumpy Cat, the comic. And we get some previews. Swords of Sorrow. James Bond. Doc Savage. The Seduction of the Innocent. And more pulp noir stuff here. The Precinct. New Jersey Comic Expo. Chris Claremont. Ethan Van Sciver. He's in the whole Comicsgate thing now. That's when he drew for Green Lantern. Oh, next we got a packaged X-Man. March. This is fairly old. On the back we got some great Star Wars Masters, Luke and Boba Fett, and some good artwork there. This is for PlayStation.O. And we have Fallout for Disney Saturday morning cartoons. And here's it's got this Times Square kind of thing going on here. Twix. Final Fantasy. That's very cool. Sonic the Hedgehog. Cyberwine. And there's some Avengers. It's like Thor with a beard finally. This was originally $4. How about that? Here we go. This is the Road to Civil War II. And on the cover we've got Thanos. And Thanos is standing over a dead hero. It looks like a dead Captain Marvel. 1941 to 2016 M&Ms, and yeah, they came out in 1941 because there was a demand for chocolate for American servicemen overseas, especially in the Pacific, where chocolate would melt before it even got there. So they candy coated it so it wouldn't melt. This is Captain Marvel, the Ultimates. And Luke Cage, not Nick Cage, Power Man. He looks familiar, like someone in Avengers Endgame. Is that Monica Rambeau from who we saw? There's Odin. That looks like Ultron almost. Black Panther. I think that's Nick Fury. America Chavez, Miss America. Munchkin Kittens. Oh, Thanos. Civil War Iron Man versus Captain Marvel. There's the Hot Wheels that no one ever buys that look like superheroes. They always make them, and I never see anyone ever buy them. Next is an Action Lab. So I think for the first time we're looking at something that's not Marvel or DC. Athena Voltaire. She's a volcano goddess. I've never even heard of this one. Athena Voltaire Compendium. She's in World War II. Kind of an action hero, Lara Croft type. Good artwork. use of color to achieve light effects. And got the seaplane, and a staple in action adventure stories. Black and white. It looks like a Maltese Falcon there. I bet that's what that's supposed to be. I like the old cars. Kind of a Humphrey Bogart looking guy there. Some of these Action Lab comics are not half bad and interesting. Alright. Next is Decoy. I think I've seen this one before. It's got a fold out. Storm of the Century. That's a... If that's the TV movie, I really enjoyed it. If that's what I'm thinking about. No, that's a comic. I'm thinking the Stephen King thing. There was a good TV movie about the Stephen King story, Storm of the Century, which I really liked. Oh, this is neat artwork. I really like it. There. Almost, where they, use colors to make it look like light effects. I really do like that a lot. Kind of silly art style, but it's still visually pretty neat to look at. I think I've reviewed some of these other Decoy comics in some of my other videos. They're pretty neat to look at. Next is Victorian, which is a comic I always find interesting to look at. This is very hard, almost a hardcover. You can hear it crack when you open it. Very beautiful colors on the inside. I always think the Victorian comics are so much fun to flip through. Great artwork, great coloring. And the artwork's different in different issues. This is sort of gritty film noir kind of style. It doesn't look like any of the other Victorians I've seen. I'm really starting to get to the steampunkness of the whole thing now. I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. Galaxy. So this story looks so cool. And then we always get this little letter on the end of it. Trainer Holton's the Victorian. Very cool. Oh, next we've got Guardians of Infinity. This looks good. Ad for one of my favorite games on the back, Lego Marvel Avengers. The Guardians of the Galaxy are a team of heroes keeping the spaceways safe. But space is not the only place where danger lurks, and now our Guardians of the Galaxy find themselves the Guardians of Infinity. There's Drax. That looks like Nebula. See Groot. Keeping up with all the different Guardians of the Galaxy is a full-time job, let me tell you. There's Rocket, and someone's got Cap's shield. Not sure I know that character, but I've seen the action figure. Still, the artwork is awesome. Okay, Rocket looks adorable in this comic. Agent Carter. That was a fun show to watch. This one I might have to revisit. Very cool. Next we are at Hero Cats Midnight. I've never seen a Hero Cats, I don't think. So this is put out by Action Lab. Squirrel attack is on the back, so let's take a look at it. Midnight. Ooh, very dark. I like the cat drawings. This is so cool. I'm gonna have to give this one to Mary. She loves cats, as you know. We both do, but this might be right up her alley for giving her art inspiration. She's actually working on some cat artwork right now. Interesting style of artwork. I had to show it to her, see what she says about it. I keep seeing Johnny Depp when I see him. I don't know why. Like some villain Johnny Depp would choose to play in a movie. artwork gets better here. Here we get to some colorful concept artwork that's kind of pleasant to look at. Okay, last comic for the night. And then you'll have to wait till my next video. So we are looking at New Avengers Siege. It's at a cover price of $3.99. On the back, there's an ad for Glory of Heracles. There's an ad for Jada Toys here. Tough Tech action vehicles like Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man driving these vehicles. And we got Spider-Man. I've seen her, I can't remember her name right off the bat. So we have Spider-Man, Captain America, Luke Cage, Ronan, Mockingbird, Spider-Woman, and Ms. Marvel. So this must be Mockingbird. I don't think it's Ms. Marvel. Maybe it's... It might be Ms. Marvel. I might be way off on that. Get back to some combat action here. Captain America. It says Spock. Madame Tussauds Hollywood Wax Museum. Jamie Foxx, Beyonce, Jim Carrey, Hugh Jackman, Snoop Dogg, and I have no idea who those two are. The Art of Iron Man 2. There's Nick Fury again. Some Star Wars and Harry Potter. An Argus Filch mini bust. Look at that. There's Hawkeye. Jessica Jones, Ms. Marvel. And that's it. That's all the comics. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll give this one to Mary. Show you everything we looked at here. And quite a few comics. So I hope you got some ideas for something you might want to read. I'm going to set this one aside too because I'd like to complete this set. Until next time, if you like my channel, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Bye.